Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next lesson in the introduction to learning, development, and course creation. And today's session or lesson is on what is the purpose of a course. So it's important to realize, what is the primary purpose of a course? And we understand it as being the transfer of information or technical skills and abilities. So there are two sort of ways to think about this. And the first is like a tertiary sort of course or a university level course where we're more information heavy over, for example, a vocational course, which is more sort of experiential knowledge heavy or learning how to do or learning by doing. So it's important when we think about this and the purpose of our course that we are creating and sort of why we would create the course to understand what is it that I want to sort of transfer. Is it a technical ability of how to do something, or is it the information behind that helps someone shape their understanding of how to do something? So even in tertiary courses, there is an element of doing. Even in vocational courses, there is uh, not an elephant, an element of understanding. So we just understand that, like, it's sort of the ratio to which we focus on each area. So when you're doing your courses, we just remember that there are two different sort of types of courses that we can create or models that I talk about. And that is an informational course, which is there to present information and help someone understand the key topic. And then there's like an academic or a graded course where the purpose of the course is to provide specific information so that someone can overcome a test or a challenge at the end or an examination. So I only speak about and focus on informational courses. I don't care about graded systems and all of that because it's irrelevant. I've done that many courses throughout my life that I've come to realize that focusing on specific information just for the purpose of overcoming a test does not allow people to determine what information is necessary or needed to them. It's why I think that, a vocational or an experiential course is more valuable because we sort of, in the real world, we don't have like, these isolated areas or these sort of like sanitized spaces. Because you think about it like this, even if you're doing problem solving, for example, when I was studying my bachelor's of commerce at university, doing accounting and things like that, like we had these like scenarios, and even though these scenarios were meant to reflect real life situations, they rarely ever did. Do you sort of get it? Because in the real life, if I need to overcome something, there's AI, there's Google, there's other people I can talk to get more information on this specific problem that's been through it. But these specific problems are nowhere near as structured. Do you sort of get it? So we just realize the downfall to doing an academic or a graded course is that we are moving external to sort of the nuance of the real world. So that's why we want to have practical demonstrations and practical work within the course that allows people to think about it. But it's sort of like the purpose of the course is to transfer knowledge, information, to transfer understanding, to transfer technical abilities, to transfer skills. And we remember this, that these are all just terminology for the exact same thing. A skill is just information. And ability is just information. It's just the applied aspect of that information. Do you sort of get it? Knowledge is just the applied aspect of that information. For me to know something, I must be able to do it. Do you sort of get it? Otherwise, I just think I know it. So just realize, like, and we remember that it's important for us to focus on the transference of value to the student, to the buyer, to the consumer of this content, because that's all a course is content. It's just the structured layer or way in which we present the information or the content to the potential buyer, to the student, to, you know, our consumer, however you want to see it. Do you sort of get it? Like, for example, if I had a school and I have students, those students are buyers of the programs that the school runs. Do you sort of get it? Like, we seem to have these ideas where we try to compartmentalize everything, that a student is different to a buyer is different to a consumer, and they're all just the same thing. So when we get these nuances out of the way and we just understand that should I be talking to a student, I'm talking to a buyer. Should I be talking to a student, I'm talking to a consumer. I'm talking, to sort of like the same person. So it's just like, if you think about it, the purpose of a course is for me to talk directly to another individual and connect with them, because the deeper I connect with that individual, the easier and more effective it is that I am able to transfer that knowledge to them, that information to them, those skills to them. So never forget that the purpose of it is the human to human connection. It will always be this way. So when we think about it like this, okay, to break it down really easy, a tertiary or an information heavy course is just going to have a high level of information density, whereas a vocational course or a sort of hands-on experiential course is just more practical experience dense. If I'm teaching you how to work on a car, I'm not so much talking you through the process as I am showing and demonstrating you how do we change an oil filter. How do we check the spark plugs? How do we check the transmission? How do we check the brake lines? Like, I'm showing you and doing it as I'm explaining it. But like, if we took economics, for example, I can't go and do, so to speak, economics, like not like this is where the nuances get in, but like if I was sort of teaching you how to trade, I couldn't go out there and then teach you and put you into the economy to learn. I have to build up your theoretical understanding of the different practices and principles and the different ways things operate prior to. But I could use, if I was teaching you how to trade, I could use past data. So past trading cycles to demonstrate. So just understand that what we're looking for when we're understanding the purpose of a course, sorry, is that am I needing to be information dense or am I needing to be practical experience dense? Do you sort of get it? And it's the sort of like the melding between them. It's the dance between me showing you how to do it, me getting you to do it, and then me explaining why it had to be done this way, or me explaining, why it went this way. And that's how we really get effective courses. So think about it in terms of we have two different kinds of courses that we are going to create. One is a general introductory course, and the other is like a specialized niche course. So when I think about it like this, if I was thinking about teaching you how to trade or invest, there are some general things I have to teach you about the introduction to the market. I have to teach you about how to do company research, how to analyze the companies, and all of this. But then I also have to teach you the very, very specific information of how to predict out and future predict the movements of that company. Do you sort of get it? The movements of that stock price, the movements of the industry, how to analyze highly specific elements within that industry. So it's not that like I create a course that's all just general information because it wouldn't be applicable. So think about it like general information is to elevate your understanding, and then specialized information is the application of information to specific situations. Do you sort of get it? So I can't write a course or, do a course that is just 100% specialized information because the general information is how I link the relevance of the specialized information to the overarching conceptual frameworks or theoretical frameworks that we are operating within. And within everything, for example, if I was teaching you how to cook, like there are conceptual frameworks around, heat and how heat works. Do you sort of get it? So if I'm teaching you how to, for example, bake a cake, I can say to you that you need to bake it at 200 degrees for, say, 25 minutes. And you need to, for example, check it every 10 to 15 minutes to make sure that, it's working and the water density within it or the concentration of water or the amount of water within the batter will determine the quickening of the cooking time. If there's slightly more water in the batter, it'll take longer for it to burn than if there's less water in the batter. Do you sort of get it? Because it dries out. Do you sort of get it? So, like, I can use specialized information, but if I was just talking to you about how to cook or bake a cake, and I'm just talking about the density, like the water density within the batter, and all of this, and I'm talking about the sort of heat coefficient of the evaporation of that water to how the the batter or the cake will then burn, it's not going to make too much sense to you. So just understand that like we need the light intermediate sort of information or the introductory information to give people the overarching general understanding of what's happening. And then the really specialized niched information is what allows them to then connect that to the specific outcomes and the specific actions that need to be taken within it. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I'm talking to you about creating your first course and how to write a course, and I'm talking to you about how to structure your course, well, if I just talked in terms of specialized information that you needed within your course, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be as easy if I was talking about, like section segmentation and how much information or information density you need within each segment and what information you need within each segment. If I don't tell you or explain to you the overarching concept of how to structure it. So if I was saying, for example, you're doing a course on cooking. Well, you need to have a recipe in there. You need to have, highly specialized measurements of the exact measurements that you need within that recipe. Do you know what I mean? And then we talk about the cooking times and the heats and things like that and how to preheat your oven and things like that. And it's sort of like you'll get the specialized information right, but you won't have any of the leading information that gives the overarching viewpoint to a buyer. Because if you think about it like this, the purpose of a course is to take someone who has no exposure, and when we're writing a course, like that's a key thing to remember is that we're taking someone who has no idea about any aspects of what we are talking about, and what we're trying to do is elevate them to understanding the conceptual frameworks and like when I say conceptual framework, what is a conceptual framework? Do you sort of get it? If I said write an introduction to your course, like that's a conceptual framework. Do you sort of get it? Because like what is an introduction? Do you sort of get it? So then I would have to explain to you an introduction is an introductory sort of segment that allows you to introduce different elements that will be covered within the course. Do you sort of get it? Like why the course is important, why the information in the course is relevant. Do you sort of get it? So, like a conceptual framework is just how I create or like display or present information to you to sort of give you an overview understanding or a general understanding of the relevance and importance and reasons behind why I'm saying an introduction or introductory segment is important within the overarching sort of structure of a course. Do you sort of get it? It's kind of hard to sort of explain this because what we're doing is we're oversimplifying. Do you sort of get it? So, like when I'm doing my introductory, okay, information, I'm over explaining it to make it as simple and easy as possible, but also to show all the different aspects that make it up or the different ways in which it can be used. Because an introduction can be used in a course to give background on, why the course is presented or how the course came to be about. An introduction can be used to outline what is covered in the course. Do you sort of get it? So think about it like this. What we are trying to do when we're creating a course, and the main purpose of the course is to expose people to new concepts or new ideas or new ways of thinking, and then to reinforce it with specific information or general information, and then specialized information to give people an understanding that is not only like theoretical, so information based, but also practical, that is experiential based. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important to understand this because the more we can align these two forms of information, so general and specialized, the more we can dance with them, the easier it becomes for us to like connect with a buyer and create relevancy and then create the practical framework or foundation for them to replicate or reproduce it. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important that we start to understand this because the more we start to understand this, the more we're going to be able to connect on a deeper level with our buyers by creating a combination between like a general course and a specialized course. So if we go too far to the general course, we don't really explain the practical ways of replicating or reproducing what we are talking about. But if we go too far into our specialized course, we don't explain the overarching themes and the purposes and reasons behind the information that's being presented. So, like, if you look back on your own experiences within courses, within learning, within education, you'll understand that, like, it's within your own experience that you've gone through where if you don't understand the foundational information or the overarching themes of the relevance and importance of the information, The specialized information, while you can understand it, you don't understand like its relationship to what you are trying to do. So there'll be a, so to speak, like a discord or a what would be the word? But like there will be resistance between you connecting the dots between someone talking about, for example, accrual accounting. Like if I was talking about accrual accounting and I was talking about that every time you sort of had an order come in, you keep 1.5% of or like one to 1.5%, or not percent, but like 1 to 1.5 times of the cost value of, your order, and you keep it in your sort of like your cash flow like budget. Do you sort of get it? If I don't explain to you what all those different elements are, what's going to happen is you understand that every time I put an order through or I have an order through, I keep 1 to 1.5 times what the cost of goods were, but I don't understand like why am I doing it? It doesn't make sense. So it will become harder and harder for me to understand the relevancy of it. But if I were to tell you that the purpose behind doing that is that I want to be like accruing like a cash reserve to be able to purchase or repurchase the product or service at cost, and then to grow by every two products, I'm able to now buy three. Do you sort of get it? So I'm growing my inventory. Does that sort of make sense? So it's in understanding the generalized information and the highly specialized information that we don't want to make things overcomplicated where we don't explain it. So when I was at university, it was pretty important when writing sort of um like reports and writing assignments and things like that, that you need to explain things to someone as if they have never been introduced to the topic or to the theory or to like the specialized information so that you're able to make it as clear as possible. Otherwise, there is a lot of room for misinterpretation. So think about it like that. Our generalized information is the clarity, and our specialized information is sort of like the actionable the actionable aspect of it. Do you sort of get it? So if we take that accrual accounting and like we did that, if I just told you that it's important for your business's growth that every time an order comes in, you hold a cash reserve so that you're able to purchase or repurchase stock for future sales, and to keep some to being able to repurchase or to expand or grow your business. It wouldn't make sense because while you would understand the meaning and the reason for it, you wouldn't understand exactly how to do it. So when we're doing the specialized information, that's where we're giving people the actionable steps to take. Do you sort of get it? And we're telling them how to take those steps. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important because the more we start to understand this, the more we start to understand that the goal of our course or the purpose behind our course is to have a high level of information retention within our students. Do you sort of get it? But if we understand memory and how memory operates, if I don't understand the value of the information becomes harder for me to memorize because it holds no relevance for me. Do you sort of get it? So think about it like this. If you're not a mechanic and you go to a mechanic and they're talking you through your car and the different works that need to be done, and you've got no experience or exposure to the terminology that the mechanics use, like you understand what they're saying when they explain to it, that they're saying that this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. But if you were to try and repeat it or explain it to someone else, it doesn't make sense. Do you sort of get it? Like the information becomes jumbled because you don't separate between the difference between the terminology and the relevance of the terminology and where to apply that terminology to. Does this sort of make sense? So just understand that the general information is what allows me to go, okay, oil, like the oil filter, the reason for changing the oil filter is that like the oil filter filters out particles that will block and sort of like gum up the pipes or the lines that the oil is pumped through. And what is the purpose of the oil? To lubricate and stop my car from overheating and to keep it cool and things like that and stop parts from seizing. So it's like if I understand that when I'm talking to someone about the oil filter, I understand. And like it may seem very, if you have any understanding about cars, this may seem very, 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 very basic. But there are people who, for example, if they remove the oil filter, like sometimes they don't even think to refill the oil. Do you sort of get it? Like some people don't even think when they service a car to would think to service and change the oil filter. They would just say it's got a filter on it. Do you sort of get it? So like we can think about it as being, that this is like the most basic stuff that people should know. But the downside is that opens up to miscommunication and misunderstanding. So just realize that. So for like what you think as being the most basic information to you might be the most complex information to someone else because they have no exposure or experience with it. Do you sort of get it? It's like me explaining, for example, like this, like the purpose of a course. Like I can explain it in 2 words. It's to transfer information. Do you sort of get it? But like a lot of people won't understand like what that means. How do I transfer information? Do you sort of get it? Like how do I transfer knowledge and understanding to someone else? And how do I have someone else sort of consume and understand that knowledge and sort of information to be retained within their memory? Do you sort of get it? So like it's very important that we understand this because it's only through the repetition of repeating key information consistently over a long duration do we really educate someone. So if you think about it back to your schooling days, there would be subjects that you did not understand that much, like for example, mathematics, or for example, English, or for example, science or history or something like that. And, like you wouldn't understand. So, like, if it was explained to you once, like you would understand what was being explained to you, but you would have no memory retention of it. So just understand that what we're trying to do in our courses and why I predominantly will go informational courses over any other form of courses is because what we want to do is we want to structure the courses to consistently like consistently repeat key or specific information that is relevant to the potential buyer or the student or however you want to see it. Do you sort of get it? A student is a buyer is a student, a consumer of the content is a student, like however you want to see it. Like, and think about it like this in your own business, in your own career, in anything like whatever it is that you do, you can create a course for potential buyers, a free course that introduces them to your product or service. You can have courses for your like your staff, to educate them on the process and practices that you do. Like it's very important because if you understand how to do this, it's just the transference of information. So rather than me have you do something and then tell you why you're wrong, I can have a course that explains it in detail and have you do that course 10 to 15 times, and then I have you do it. And then I explain what you did wrong because you have more of a conceptual understanding of what you are doing. You understand conceptual frameworks and theoretical frameworks, and you have the specialized information that when I repeat it to you or explain it to you, it is triggering the memory of it. Do you sort of get it? So very important that we understand this because like we're not trying to memorize the information in the course like with an academic or a graded course. We are trying to condition in the information and build up the association to the information and the general understanding of the purpose of that information. Does that sort of make sense? So just understand that like when you think about it in terms of learning, when you think about it in terms of teaching someone, we are thinking about where is the memory stored? And the memory storage or the large portion of our long-term memory storage is in our unconscious mind or our subconscious mind. So if it's in our unconscious mind or our subconscious mind, we don't have conscious access to it unless we do specialized practices to do that. But our unconscious mind or our subconscious mind doesn't have access to logic, language, or reason. Do you sort of get it? So I can't just consciously think I need to remember this and then now I've remembered it. So just realize that when you're structuring your course, when you're creating your course, the purpose of your course is to repetitively repeat key information that sort of creates TOMA or top of mind awareness that like this information equals this. Do you sort of get it? So that when I remind you about this information or what you've done wrong here, you're easily able to correct it. And then that is a way that you're able to access it. Do you sort of get it? You access it through past experience or experiential understandings, emotional states. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important for that, is that the purpose of the course is to create like importance around key information. Do you sort of get it? Like, for example, I am stressing to you the transference of knowledge, the transference of information, the transference of value, the transference of like practical skills or abilities, experiential knowledge. Do you sort of get it? It's all the same thing. It's just different ways in which we go about doing it. Experiential knowledge is just knowledge from doing, from experiencing. Like knowledge is just like understanding. And like we can get into the finite differences, okay? Information is data, is the words, is the information on the page. Understanding is when I'm able to consume those words and understand the underlying meaning of it. Knowledge is where I'm able to understand the information that is presented to me and then apply it to an action or activity or a problem or a challenge or a situation that I'm trying to do. Do you sort of get it? Like it's just the different elements of it. So we just understand like knowledge isn't a different form of data. It's the application of that data into like an applicable like state or into a thing that we are doing. Does that sort of make sense? All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.